The Biden administration is now free to terminate former President Trump's Remain in Mexico border policy. Under the Migrant Protection Protocol, some 70,000 asylum seekers are required to wait outside the U.S. for their hearings. President Biden ended this policy on his first day in office, but was blocked by a Texas judge who ruled that the policy would remain active. CBS News immigration reporter Camilo Montoya-Galvez joins me now. Camilo, this policy has a complicated backstory. Briefly, can you explain what happened today and how it changes things?
Hi, Lana. That's right. This federal judge in Texas has now set aside his own ruling from August of 2021 that required the Biden administration to re-implement the so-called Remain in Mexico program, which is a policy dating back to the Trump administration that requires certain asylum seekers to wait for their court hearings outside of the U.S. And this is really, Lana, the culmination of a year-long legal battle between the Biden administration and Republican officials in Texas and Missouri. These are some of the states that have challenged multiple of President Biden's immigration and border policies. These states were able to convince this judge last summer to order the administration to reinstate this Trump-era border policy. But the Supreme Court earlier this summer, Lana, rejected the legal arguments by these Republican officials and cleared the way for the Biden administration to end this policy, which now it can legally do. However, the Department of Homeland Security, which oversees border officials who implement this policy, has not made a public announcement surrounding this new order today. CBS News has made several requests for comment.
So, Camilo, what does this mean for the thousands of asylum seekers outside of the U.S.?
No, that is an excellent question, Lana. This means that the Biden administration will most likely stop enrolling people in this program. This is a legal victory for advocates for asylum seekers who have called this policy inhumane and draconian. But what is really important to note, Lana, is that this move will have a fairly limited impact on current U.S. border policy because the Biden administration has so far used this policy very sparingly since it revived it back in December of 2021. Since that time, fewer than 6,000 migrants have been returned to Mexico under this program. And just to get a better perspective of that, since that time, border officials have processed over 1 million migrants since that time. So this is a drop in the bucket. However, it is still very important to note that U.S. border officials are still enforcing another Trump-era border policy. That is the Title 42 Public Health Emergency Order. And that policy allows officials to expel migrants to Mexico or to their home country. And unlike Remain in Mexico, it does not allow those migrants to request asylum.
Yeah. So, Camilo, both that policy and the Remain in Mexico policy, created by one presidential administration, overturned by another presidential administration, is it possible that this policy might ping pong back and forth depending on who's in the Oval Office, or does this court decision make this more permanent?
That is a critical question, Lana. As you know, this was an executive action by the Trump administration, and they used it to require more than 70,000 migrants to wait in Mexico. The Biden administration made a different decision regarding this policy, which it believed was ineffective and that it placed asylum seekers in harm's way, and that's why the administration has tried to end it. But yes, this is a broader symptom of this larger issue that has been really caused by federal inaction in Congress regarding immigration and border policy, because lawmakers on both sides of the aisles have failed to forge a compromise on this divisive issue. It has fallen on executive branches to take unilateral actions to deal with high numbers of migrants coming to the U.S.-Mexico border, and the folks who are here unlawfully in the U.S. and who have been living here for years, such as the Dreamer population and farm workers. There still has not been any sort of federal legislative solution for these populations. And because of that, I think we're going to continue to see these different policies come and go. And then we have Republican-led states suing over these policies as well. So I think we'll continue to see federal immigration policy dictated by the executive branch, Alana.
All right. Camilo, thank you.
Thank you.